Good morning and welcome to Round the Globe on Aneke TV. First, the headlines. Flash flood in Indian Kashmir leaves at least 56 dead. Israel says it is in talks with several countries about taking in displaced Palestinians. EFCC denies targeting former President Olusegun Obasanjo. Information Minister says Southeast is at the heart of President Tinubu's vision and agenda. I am Aneke. Now the news in detail. At least 56 people have died and 80 are missing after a sudden rainstorm in Indian Kashmir, the second such disaster in the Himalayas in a little over a week. The incident in the town of Chashoti, Kishtwar district occurred at a stopover point on a pilgrimage route. Days earlier, a flood and mudslide engulfed a village in the Himalayan state of Uttarakhand. The flood washed away a community kitchen and security posts in the village. A pit stop along the pilgrimage route to Machali Mata Temple. According to an official, a large number of pilgrims who had gathered for lunch were washed away. The Machali Yatra Trail is a popular route up to the high-altitude Himalayan shrine of Machal Mata, which honors the Hindu goddess Durga, and pilgrims trek to the temple from Chashoti, where the road for vehicles ends. In Israel, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu says talks are underway with several countries about taking in Palestinians displaced by the war in Gaza. A senior Israeli official told CNN that the countries involved are South Sudan, Somaliland, Ethiopia, Libya, and Indonesia. In exchange for taking in some of Gaza's population of more than 2 million people, the officials said the countries are looking for significant financial and international compensation. However, South Sudan has rejected a report that it was in discussions about the resettlement of Palestinians. It termed the report baseless and did not reflect the official position of the country. Earlier this year, Somaliland also said there was no such talks. And last week, Indonesia said it was ready to take in 2,000 Palestinians from Gaza for treatment, but that they would return to Gaza once they recovered. It's unclear how advanced any of these discussions are and whether they are likely to come to fruition. In the meantime, U.S. President Donald Trump and Russian President Vladimir Putin are preparing for a highly anticipated summit in Alaska on the Ukraine war. Trump says Putin won't mess around with him at their first one-on-one meeting in 6 years. Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky is notably excluded from the talks and has warned that decisions made in his absence will be meaningless. Both sides have lost tens of thousands of soldiers since Russia launched its full-scale invasion of Ukraine in 2022. In U.S., California's Democratic governor has unveiled a high-stakes plan to redraw voting lines in America's most populous state in order to counter similar efforts by Republicans in Texas. Gavin Newsom called for a special election to be held in November, in which voters would be asked to approve lawmakers redrawing congressional districts before national midterms in 2006. He billed the move as an emergency measure in response to a Donald Trump-backed plan in Texas, which could see the Republicans pick up 5 more seats in the finely balanced House. To some stories from Nigeria. The Economic and Financial Crimes Commission has denied that the Olusegun Obasanjo Presidential Library in Abeokuta, Ogun State, was the target of its recent sting operation in which 93 suspected internet fraudsters were arrested. The management of Olusegun Obasanjo Presidential Library had earlier condemned the night operation and the arrest of guests at the guest house within the library's facilities, describing the operation as a calculated attack on ex-President Olusegun Obasanjo and a stark and blatant violation of the rights of the people who gathered for the event. It demanded 3.5 billion naira in compensation as well as public apology within 7 days, failing which it would go to court. However, in a statement, the EFCC spokesperson, Mr. Dele Oyewale, said the arrest took place at a hotel located within the precincts of the library and not at the library itself. Also, the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, has confirmed that it will today arraign the suspect arrested at a hotel within the former President Olusegun Obasanjo Presidential Library, OOPL, for alleged internet fraud. The EFCC spokesperson, Mr. Dele Oyewale, in a statement issued on Thursday, said that out of the 93 suspects, 23 would be arraigned before Justice Dipeolu of the Federal High Court, Ikoyi, Lagos. Mr. Oyewale, who revealed that other suspects will be arraigned in batches, said that upon profiling, almost all of them are indicted for alleged offences bordering on impersonation, identity fraud, and internet fraud. He said they were arrested at a pool party in a hotel within the OOPL premises where they were believed to be using the event as cover for their crimes, stressing that the former president's facility was not the target but the suspects. Mr. Oyewale said the suspects had already confessed to their involvement in internet fraud, adding that other batches would be arraigned in the near future. Now we move to some political matters. The Ogun State chapter of the African Democratic Congress on Thursday accused the police of disrupting its campaign in Shagamu for Saturday's Remo federal constituency by-election. ADC State Chairman Femi Soluade said the party, led by its National Secretary and former Osun State Governor Rauf Aregbesola, had secured police approval for the rally, but its campaign train was violently disrupted. Canopies removed, chairs broken, musical instruments seized, and an armored tank stationed to intimidate their candidate leaders and supporters. Soluade alleged that the divisional police officer in Shagamu, joined by the area commander, later blocked Aregbesola, the party's Southwest chairman, Rasak himself, and other senior leaders at Isale Oko, ordering them to turn back to Abeokuta. In the meantime, the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, has completed arrangements for tomorrow's by-elections in 16 constituencies across 12 states. The National Commission and Chairman of INEC's Information and Voter Education Committee, Mr. Sam Olumekun, said in a statement that all logistics for the exercise had been put in place. According to INEC, the elections will hold in 2 senatorial districts in Anambra and Edo State, 5 federal constituencies in Edo State, Jigawa, Kaduna, Ogun, and Oyo states, and 9 state constituencies in Adamawa, Anambra, Kaduna, Kano, Kogi, Niger, Taraba, and Zamfara states. Court-ordered reruns will also take place in Enugu South, one state constituency, and Gari state constituency in Kano state. Mr. Olumekun further announced that continuous voter registration will resume soon, with online pre-registration beginning on the 18th of this month and physical registration opening on 25th at 811 centers nationwide. In Enugu State, federal government says the Southeast region is at the heart of the vision and agenda of the President Bola Tinubu-led administration. The government stressed that in the various reforms, strategic and inclusive leadership of Tinubu, the Southeast region has not and will not be marginalized. The Minister of Information and National Orientation, Alhaji Mohammed Idris, stated this during citizens' engagement with the people of Enugu State. The federal government team led by the minister is embarking on a 3-day citizens' engagement and 12 projects in Enugu and Ebonyi states. The essence of the tour is to interact directly with citizens and showcase ongoing projects of the President Bola Tinubu-led administration in the Southeast region. The minister further explained that to address marginalization, Tinubu established new development commissions for all previously uncovered zones, ensuring no region is left behind. He noted that the president's inclusive governance style is evident in balanced appointments and equitable distribution of projects. The minister added that the federal government has rolled out various empowerment and humanitarian programs to cushion the effect of fuel subsidy removal and other tough but necessary policies of the administration. The event was attended by different stakeholders from the state. Enugu State. Enugu State's Governor Peter Mba has commended President Bola Tinubu for his decisive actions on fuel subsidy removal and the unification of currency exchange rates, describing them as bold steps that have boosted boosted state finances and enabled greater development. Speaking on Thursday at the inauguration of a CNG bus terminal in Enugu, Governor Mbah said the reforms had freed up funds for critical projects that would have been impossible under the old system. Now we move to the health sector. Medicine Sans Frontières, also known as Doctors Without Borders, has expressed concerns over rising cases of cholera in Zamfara State, disclosing that no fewer than 1,500 suspected cases had been recorded in just 7 weeks at 3 facilities of the Ministry of Health. According to a group, the outbreak, which began in mid-June, is spreading rapidly and amid insecurity, mass displacement and poor access to clean water, which has been worsened by the ongoing rainy season. To curb the spread, the group said it had scaled up water, sanitation and hygiene interventions alongside health promotion campaigns in partnership with the Zamfara state government and other humanitarian agencies. In economy, the Director General of the World Trade Organization, WTO, Dr. Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala, says government of President Bola Tinubu deserves credit for stabilizing the economy. She lauded President Tinubu's sweeping economic reforms, describing them as pivotal in restoring economic stability and laying the groundwork for sustainable growth. She spoke after visiting the president at the State House, Abuja. Dr. Okonjo-Iweala, former finance minister and coordinating minister of the economy, commended the Tinubu administration's decisive policy direction. The WTO chief said her discussions with President Tinubu centered on how to build robust safety nets while unlocking growth through job creation, expanded investment opportunities and increased household incomes. Dr. Okonjo-Iweala was in Abuja to brief the president on the launch of the Women Exporters in the Digital Economy WEIDE Fund, a joint initiative of the WTO and International Trade Center ITC, unveiled earlier with the support of the First Lady, Senator Oluremi Tinubu. Meanwhile, the federal government says about 8.3 million naira will be required to rehabilitate the Third Mainland Bridge in Lagos following the discovery of severe underwater structural damage. The Minister of Works, Senator David Umahi, announced this while briefing State House correspondents after the federal leave presided over by President Bola Tinubu in Abuja. According to Umahi, underwater assessments conducted in 2013 and 2019 on both the Carter and Third Mainland bridges revealed significant substructural deterioration caused by illegal sand mining, erosion and corrosion of piles and piers. The minister said the proposal builds on a series of emergency interventions already undertaken on bridges across the country. The federal government said the state government and local government are getting more funds under the current administration, leading to a surplus of about 7.1 trillion naira. The Minister of Finance and Coordinating Minister of the Economy, Mr. Wale Edo, announced this at a news conference in Abuja yesterday. According to him, the funds consisted of statutory allocations as well as refunds made to them for earlier deductions, noting that the federal government was effectively passing proceeds of the fuel subsidy removal to Nigerians. He noted that in the last quarter, the federal government paid contractors over 2 trillion naira to settle outstanding capital budget obligations from last year, adding that going forward, the focus will shift to 2025 capital releases. In the meantime, the Nigeria Labour Congress has threatened a nationwide strike if the federal government fails to return what it claims to be billions of naira taken from workers' insurance contributions. It also demanded that the government fill the leadership gap in the country's Pension Regulatory Commission within a week. The NLC accused the federal government of siphoning 40% of contributions from the Nigeria Social Insurance Trust Fund into the National Treasury. The fund, which is financed by payroll deductions from millions of workers, is meant to protect them in the event of injury or job loss. However, the National Pension Commission argued that the contributory pension scheme remains secure and continues to grow as it kicked against claims of missing funds. Now moving over to sports, President of the Nigeria Basketball Federation and Chairman of NNPCL, Musa Kida, has said the $100,000 reward given to each the Tigers player by President Bola Tinubu should be seen as recognition for the team's sustained dominance over the past decade rather than a single victory. Kida said the reward was not excessive when measured against the team's sustained record. Tinubu's package for the team, announced by Vice President Kashim Shettima during a reception at the presidential villa, included $50,000 for each member of the technical crew, a 3-bedroom apartment for the Renewed Hope Estate for all players and staff, and the conferment of the National Honor of Officer of the Order of Niger. Now we move over to entertainment. Friends and associates of Big Brother Niger Season 10 housemate Victory Okokon have dismissed claims that he is misogynistic, describing the backlash over his heated exchange with fellow housemate Thelma as a deliberate smear campaign. The argument, which began after Thelma told Victory to stop sharing food, escalated when he called her very stupid. And that's all on Round the Globe on Aneke TV. To end Round the Globe, here are the main points. At least 46 people have died and more than 200 were missing following sudden heavy rain in Indian Kashmir. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu said that talks are underway with several countries about taking in Palestinians displaced by the war in Gaza. We also told you that the federal government said Southeast region is at the heart of the vision and agenda of the President Bola Tinubu-led administration. The government stressed that in the various reforms, strategic and inclusive leadership of Tinubu, the Southeast region has not and will not be marginalized. The Minister of Information and National Orientation, Alhaji Mohammed Idris, stated this during a citizens' engagement with the people of Enugu State. That was the news. For breaking news and eyewitness report, please call 0703 043 7110, or you can send a message to all our social media platforms on Facebook, WhatsApp, Instagram, X, and right here on YouTube, all at Aneke TV. Thank you for joining us. I am Aneke.
Sex is sacred, not shameful. In its truest form, it is more than the body. It is soul speaking to soul, fire woven with trust, vulnerability clothed in consent. But when misused, it breaks more than bodies, it fractures spirits. That is why it must be approached with reverence, not recklessness. Let us teach to love before lust, connection before conquest. For when sex is honored, it becomes not just pleasure, but poetry.
traditions, mysteries of life to global perspectives. We'll tell your stories. We amplify your voice and your vision. We stand in power. It's
The soul is mine.
Welcome to Aneke TV, the heartbeat of culture, truth, and global perspectives. We'll tell your stories. It's more than a television. This is Aneke TV. We move with the world.
Good morning, Nigeria. Good morning, 042. Thank you for joining us today. You're tuned in to Sunrise on Aneke TV. I'm your live from our studio here in vibrant Enugu.
And I'm Uche Osai. Wherever you are, at home, in your office, or in traffic, we say thank you for letting us into your space this beautiful Friday morning. We're always here to refresh, inform, and motivate.
Yes, and it's Friday 15th, 2025. We're here again with Nolly.
So, relax, sip your tea, and enjoy the ride because the sunrise is here.
Yes, and first of all, we would start off with our quote of the day with words that can be uplifting to help us remain focused and also well-driven.
Right after that, we'll give you today's stories from our news headlines. All the key updates served hot and tasty.
We've also got the weather report for today covering cities across the southeast, which will help you get well prepared and let you get ready for the day.
And later, we'll take you through today's celebrations to lift up your spirit.
And to our quote of the day today, it's coming from a known visionary, a well-known Nigerian writer by name Ola Rotimi, and in his quote he says, "It is always best to keep your words soft and sweet. You might never know when you'd have to eat them." I'm going to take that again. He says, "It is always best to keep your words soft and sweet. You might never know when you'd have to eat them." It's like a polite way of warning us, don't speak harshly because you never know when life will make you swallow your own words. I would like to hear your own view on this quote, Mr. Uche.
All right. At the end of the day, I think this quote is just telling us to just be careful with choose our words carefully. It should be to our politicians even. Be careful with what you say out there. Because you come back eating your words. Politicians will tell us we will never move. I will remain in this party.
Yes.
At the end of the day, you see them going back to their words. So it shows lack of honor.
Yes, that's true. And like they say, words are powerful.
Yes, very
like
powerful.
They can come back to haunt you.
Yes.
So you should be sure,
you
should know what you're saying. Don't say say things anyhow.
Yes, we've seen our politicians. You've seen them go against each other. This one would criticize that person. This one would say this.
At the end of the day,
you see them being the spokesperson for that same person that they criticize.
That's true.
I will never have something to do with so party. This party is a cancer, this party is a malaria. But at the end of the day, you see the same person.
You see them shaking hands.
Speaking for that same, fighting for that same
then
party.
When you try holding some people by their words, they say, I never said something like that.
So Aneke is telling us to be careful with our words.
Yeah, so from today, let's be careful and be kind to the way, or be kind of the way we speak to one another, and watch what we say so it doesn't come back to us, okay? And as usual, please always remember that each new sunrise is an opportunity for us to grow, to always learn and also try something new, or simply be present in whatever you do. Now, please let us know what this quote means to you from Olarotimi, and drop your thoughts on Facebook, X, Instagram, or right here on YouTube, all at Aneke TV. And we'll be going on a short break, and when we return, we will give you the weather update. Please stay tuned.
And you're still watching Aneke TV. Stay tuned as we take a look at today's weather across major cities in the southeast.
Now we're moving to Awka, the capital city of Anambra State. The morning in Awka starts completely cloudy with temperatures around 21 degrees Celsius. Cloudiness continues into the afternoon with showers during noontime and continuing into the late afternoon. The afternoon highs climbs to 26 degrees Celsius before cooling as evening approaches.
And over to Enugu. Expect clouds throughout the morning with temperatures starting around 23 degrees Celsius. By late afternoon, we experience showers into the early evening. The high reaches up to 28 degrees Celsius.
And in Abakaleke, the day begins with showers early this morning, followed by persistent cloud cover. More significant rainfall appears between mid-morning and early afternoon when temperatures climb to 28 degrees Celsius. The rain continues into the mid-afternoon.
And over to the jiving city of Owerri. Owerri wakes up to a cloudy sky with showers likely to develop at noon. Temperature rise steadily, peaking at 29 degrees Celsius by mid-afternoon.
And lastly, in Umuahia, skies remain cloudy throughout the morning and early afternoon. Temperatures rise to around 29 degrees Celsius by mid-afternoon when the rain is expected to begin, continuing by the late day. Showers trend.
So, wherever you are in the southeast today, be cool, stay hydrated, dress light, and keep an umbrella close. Rain or shine, we've got you covered. We'll be right back with more updates.
Welcome to Aneke TV, the heartbeat of culture, truth, and innovation. From breaking news to inspiring documentaries, from grassroots traditions, mysteries of life to global perspectives, we'll tell your stories. We amplify your voice and your vision. With every screen we light up, we connect, inform, and empower. It's more than a television. This is Aneke TV. We move with the world.
The soul is part of us that survives every storm. You can't see it, but you can feel it in silence, in longing, in every heartbeat that keeps going. It asks for more than food and fame. It hungers for meaning, for stillness, for the divine. The soul is where music is born, where peace begins, where truth hides. To care for your soul is the greatest act of self-love. For in the end, what we were fades, but what we are at our core remains.
Let's see what's making front page news today in The Nation, Punch, Vanguard, and The Guardian newspapers. On today's show, we have our in-house analyst, Mrs. Chiwendu Ifeonu-Wankwo. Thank you very much, Ms. Chiwendu, for having us on the show, or before coming on the show.
Mr. Osai,
It's good to see you again.
It's good. You're all looking lovely and wonderful.
Thank you.
Thank God it's weekend.
Thank you very
Thank God
much.
it's Friday.
Yes, in The Nation, Okonjo Iweala gives Tinubu credit for stabilizing economy. Over to the Punch headlines. Strike countdown begins as PENCOM Labour disagree. Now on the Vanguard headline, we have the how modern life is rendering men infertile. Over to the Guardian headlines. Parties jostle for 16 seats as crucial by-election set stage for 2027. Now, the Nation headline reports that Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala, Director General of the World Trade Organization, President Bola Tinubu for his efforts in stabilizing Nigeria's economy. She also acknowledged recent policies aimed at economic recovery, although public opinion remains divided on the impact. So, being with the fact she has encouraged Bola Tinubu, our president, that his effort in stabilizing the economy is a good one. I would like to know your view or your opinion on this.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you. You're welcome.
That story is a laudable one. But when you go deeper into that story, you'll find out that she was actually there for something else, which is in women empowerment, women entrepreneur, and empowerment of women entrepreneur in digital marketing ways, kind of. That was the thing. So she came there. She was able to help Nigeria to secure that. So I won't be talking on the statement she made about lauding the presidency or the current administration in stabilizing the economy. Well, that was a good one actually, but where I'm going to is that the story reads that about 146 women has been selected for that particular project. So that brings to my, I became inquisitive. I would like to know, how did they come about this 146? How did they come, how were they chosen? What were the parameters with which they selected these 146?
They should be basically entrepreneurs.
When was it when was it announced? Through which platforms? And here we are, reading that, not just that it will, but it's already on ground. So because that's what she came to do, to one, thank the president for stabilizing the economy, that with the state of the economy now, that the next stage will be growth. And it is on that basis that this women empowerment program is coming on board in order to help grow the economy. Because because there won't be any growth, according to her, that there cannot be any growth without first stabilizing the economy. So now getting the economy stabilized is the right step, right direction, the right step in the right direction. So that there is need for this to happen, and God willing, already she has been able to secure that. Nigeria was was among the countries that was chosen. That was favored to get such. So, but how are these women chosen? Now, fine, having been chosen, are there modalities on ground to make sure that the essence or the reason why they were chosen, the objective for picking them in the first place, will be achieved? Because one of the objectives are that, one, that they will not just grow their own businesses, but they will expand it such that they will become employers of labor.
Yes, that could benefit others.
As they are putting money in their own pocket, the nation will also be putting money in their own pocket. So, are there measures that has been put in place to make sure this money is used for the right purpose? Mr. Sai, at this point, I wouldn't know if you have any input to make here.
Yeah, your take on this is very commendable, and then the administration being able to empower female entrepreneurs is a very commendable one. It's a very commendable one. At the end of the day, a learning of years like you raised, that we'll see that the money is put to judicious use. Follow up on these empowered entrepreneurs to see that the money is put into what it's ought to.
Yes,
you understand?
It's meant to
so it's very
stabilize the economy.
So with that, when you invest in this women entrepreneurs, it will in turn help the economy because they are going to create jobs.
Of course.
At the end of the day, they will employ some people. Then these other people will hope to see growth.
Yes.
This is the only way an economy.
It will
This,
become
that's the
stable.
production we're talking about.
Yes.
That's the only way the economy grows.
Yes.
You understand? So it's a very laudable and commendable one from the President Bola Ahmed Tinubu-led administration. We'll commend that. Then coming to the issue of the World Trade Organization, the Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala's presence, you understand, telling us that the commending President Bola Ahmed Tinubu for stabilizing the economy. Yes, that's a good one coming from someone of economic standing and understanding in the world. You understand? So, and we commend President Bola Tinubu for that, for his efforts in trying to stabilize the economy.
Yes.
But like you pointed out, according to Ms. Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala, that the emphasis should not be on stabilizing the economy, though it's a prerequisite to growing an economy. Yes, but the emphasis now should be on moving beyond stability to growth. Because if you remain at the point of stability, then it may begin to say crack. It wouldn't hold. Efforts should be geared towards growing the economy. Then I must point this out. You know, the presence of Okonjo-Iweala is very, very good one for the country, in the sense that her presence, I think, will somehow engender confidence from the international communities, investors on Nigeria. Yes,
at least hearing her saying
that the economy is stable. Yes,
and coming from her,
good.
You'll be like, wow.
Yes.
So it's actually stable.
That means
yes.
We can come with our money. We can come with our investment.
Yes.
But the point I want to point is this. The point I want to make is this. Beyond that, which is good for the nation, you know, this administration has been very, very criticized on optics. So for me, this shouldn't be just for optics. Let it not be that her presence, her coming is just for the optics. They should listen to her that it's now time to go beyond stability. Do you understand?
They will not go about singing and
yes. And now, since it's coming from Okonjo-Iweala, do you understand? I'm talking about optics again. The issue of empowering female entrepreneurs should equally be for the cameras.
Yes.
Do you understand?
Yes.
At the end of the day, let's see that this is well implemented. Do you understand? Let's see that it is well implemented. Going beyond the optics and the camera, follow it up, let it translate to something meaningful to the economy.
Let's have the feel, let's get the feelings, let's have the effect.
Yes, let's know that they actually did something.
Let's get the impact.
Then, talking about stabilizing the economy, is the common man on the street feeling the impact of this stability? That should be the question.
You know, she equally said something. After mentioning her moves, making sure that she attracts this to the country, she equally made mention of something that in the process of stabilizing the economy, trying to make sure it's where it's supposed to be, that the economy, the after effects was so or is so harsh on the people, so that the presidency or the current administration should try harder in cushioning the effect of this economic stability on the people. So what it means that they are aware of what is actually happening. They are not insensitive to that. So now she is like reminding them, please remember, in the course of doing this was triggered off.
Yes.
And the people are really on the hot seat. Please try and cushion the effect. So she only made mention of that. I just hope they will pay good listening
Yes.
Beyond optics. Listen to the words, and then our advice to the administration is whatever they will do, since the economy is stabilizing, let them do all that is needful, all they can, to let the impact be felt on the commoners on the street. Let the common man on the street feel the impact of stability. People are, at the end of the day, people are hungry. People won't be going to bed at night with hunger, and you're saying that the economy is stable. So let the common man on the street feel the impact of that stability.
It's
Of
true,
the
it's
stability.
true, that's
That's
true,
just
that's
the long
true.
story we are talking
We
about.
want to see
That's
we want to
what
see
we
the price of rice.
Come down to what you used
We
to
want
be.
to see the
What
price
you
of
never
when
what
it
you
used to
there.
be.
So what is the price of rice come down?
You know?
Now that you've stabilized, let's begin to see that the price of beans, the price of chicken, the price of milk,
not all.
the price of
Everything
garri,
moves
let them begin to
Garri.
let it feel the impact.
Yes.
Thank you,
Thank
yeah.
you very much. At least one thing we know is let it not be only stable but have the opportunity to grow.
Of
Let
course.
it be used in a way that we can know that the country is growing,
yeah.
economically.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you for that. And we're moving over to the Punch headlines. The Punch headlines reports that tensions are rising as the strike countdown begins. The National Pension Commission, PENCOM, and labor unions are in disagreement over unresolved issues, raising fears of potential industrial actions in no compromise to reach soon. Now, the report says the Nigerian Labour Congress has threatened a national work strike, and if the federal government fails to return what it claims to be billions of naira taken from workers, that they are going on strike. It has actually begun. Just a 1 week warning strike that the National
So the
Labour Congress.
We're now on countdown, right?
Yes, we're on countdown, right?
Yeah,
We're on countdown.
they actually accused the federal government of siphoning 14% of whatever being their savings
Yes.
with PENCOM. You know, so they are saying we need that money back because that money is actually meant for us in times of injury, in times of job loss. That's where we fall back on.
Yes.
So if you come and lift it because you feel that
You can
there's
do
so much
it.
money here and it is not being used,
No.
it is people that contributed it and are still contributing, and because there's a reason for contributing. So you shouldn't interfere with it.
With the money.
It is not even only the siphoning matter that is disturbing them. They have other cases they spelled out. So they need whoever that is involved or that is in charge to constitute a governing body for them. That shouldn't be left in the hands of the PENCOM,
Yes.
handling billions of naira for them. That they need the governing body to be set up. So that's what they're saying. And the Director General of Nigeria Employers Consultative Association, NECA, Adewale Smart, is saying that it is what their act stipulates. So they are not demanding for it out of the blues. And since it is a necessity, then they should go ahead and constitute a governing body for them, so that they will be able to not just to be in charge of what they are saying, to avoid unnecessary interference. Because in this body, it is just two people that are involved, the workers and the employers. And as such, they are the only two that should have say over their own money. That they don't want any interference. That's just what they're talking about.
Yes,
Bring
that's the
back
reason
our
for the
40%
strike.
that you have taken, constitute the governing body for us, and we don't want unnecessary interference. That's what they're saying. That's just what they're demanding.
I think it has to do with one, interference, like you pointed out, and then I think there's a lack of trust here. You understand? And this, I think, cumulated from the vacuum created in the leadership of PENCOM. You understand? According to them, they want the leadership of PENCOM, you understand, inaugurated or reconstructed as soon as possible. There's a leadership vacuum, you understand, in PENCOM. They don't have that council that will have to look into the affair. And the Labour is saying, in the absence of that leadership, that it is very easy for interference.
Yes.
Do you understand?
Yes.
It is easy for interference. So in this case, constitute the leadership of PENCOM. That way we know that not just a single person can take the decision. Whatever decision is taken is not being done by one person.
Just the person.
And then talking about a whole 40%, you understand, of this money being taken aside for other purposes. At the end of that, I should believe that Labour is well informed on this matter, because it's billions we are talking about.
Yeah.
I suppose they are well informed for them to, threaten strike. This is money contributed by taken away from their payroll, set aside for
every month that money
yes,
keeps going up
for hazards and all that. So now that it's being taken away, I think they don't have the assurance that their money is safe, and
Or
that
they are
will
safe
that
either.
they are
Yeah.
safe either. And remember that sometime around July, that the coalition of labor unions in Ogun State gave an ultimatum to their union to halt every payment into the pension contributory scheme. You understand? So I think this thing was that there has been a backlog, or it's over 17 years backlog of lack of payments of unpaid contributions, totaling getting up to 82 billion naira. You understand? So that they are calling for a return to the old system instead of this new scheme. However, we should point out that PENCOM has come out to say that nothing has happened to your fund, that it's safe and is growing. It is alive and growing. So that means there's no cause for alarm. Your money is safe, and we've invested it well, and is growing. Do you understand? So in this case, I don't know, there has to be a conversation, mainly the federal government constituting the leadership of PENCOM. I think that's the in thing here. Constitute that leadership, so our labor will be assured that there won't be any interference.
Or they should even be aware first before, because you said something about investing.
No, there is a guideline. There's a whole lot of guideline regarding this scheme. You understand? And then I should point out that NINSITF, National Insurance Trust Fund, National Social and Trust Fund, which is the umbrella body where this fund, the vehicle for this fund, has not come out to say anything yet. They understand? They are silent. But though PENCOM has come to say that this money is safe, but NSITF has not said anything yet. They are still mute. So in this case, what we're saying is that constitute that leadership. This leadership will see that the guidelines, the rules are followed. Do you understand? No longer an individual taking a decision. If I'm the head here and the government just, I know I'm a civil servant, I'm servant to the friend, I get called, I would answer. But when you have a body, it will be difficult to interfere. They will see that the guidelines, the laid down guidelines, the agreed guidelines on the management of this fund is followed. Now that federal government is moving this money, declaring it as part of revenue. Do you understand? So this brings a whole lot of mistrust.
And again, for labor to be crying out and PENCOM saying that their money is safe and growing, it means that there's a breakdown in communication. If those people handling the money is saying that nothing has happened to their money, it is safe and growing, and the people whose money we are talking about is saying
that
we can't trust this process again.
That's what we're saying.
It means that there's a break in communication.
The break in communication here is the absence of leadership. That leadership vacuum that is there is what engenders that mistrust. If there is that leadership, there will be, like you pointed out, there will be communication. Then labor will have faith in what is happening and how the fund is being managed. So, but in the absence of this leadership, there will continue to be mistrust. In other words, we would call on federal government at this point to see that this issue is resolved as quick as possible, so our labor doesn't go on strike. There's a lot of suffering in the country already. So I don't know, the nation, the economy wouldn't stand a strike at this moment. Thank you.
Thank you very much for that. And we're moving over to the Guardian headlines. The Guardian headlines report that parties just for 16 seats as crucial by-elections set stage for 2027, and their political parties are gearing up for a fierce contest in upcoming by-elections to fill 16 legislative seats. An analyst says the result could shape political momentum ahead of the pivotal 2027 general election. Like we discussed, there was a day we discussed this about how heated up the election is coming too, at how hot the election has been. And then I don't know your take on this heated I don't know your take on the
Mr. Osai, he's coming.
Okay, talking about, it was yesterday we were discussing about the polity and this in being heated up due to the by-elections. As of yesterday, it was reported that in obedience to Aneke guidelines, that all rallies, all campaign ceases as at yesterday, you understand, and then here we're seeing that the political parties are jostling for all the seats, about 16 of them for the by-election. Yes, like we pointed out yesterday, this is time for every political party to show that indeed they mean business. And for all these big names, for them to show that they are what they are sought. So as expected, is what it is. Political parties are in the business of winning election.
And it is also this time, just as we discussed yesterday, we are bringing you to the drawing board, starting from the point one of your takeoff till now, especially those governors that have great interest. Not that others don't have interest. Edo has interest. Anambra has interest.
Oyo has interest.
Yeah.
Oyo and
At least Edo, that's the seat he vacated.
The governor, yes.
He wants to fill it up.
Yes.
Anambra knows that his own election is coming by November, so he needs this seat to have more backup for him. But then the ballot is with the people. Are you getting it? So
yes.
People will now come and say, okay, you are so much interested because you want to give us another version of you. Just 2 years, but we are feeling like more than 2 years. So we can't take you again. Allow us to bring in somebody we know that can actually represent us. So I'm seeing a kind of drama here. At the end of this pool, if K is not taking some of these people, most of these people that have interest, they might actually lose out. Yes, because except it won't count. But if it's going to count, I'm seeing them losing out because people are crying out louder than before, and as long as this is a very good time for them to say either well done or we are done with you, then people will actually decide by casting their ballots.
Yes,
that's it. Yes,
that's it. Like, yeah, you're right. We pointed out that in by-elections like this or off-cycle elections like this is a time for the electorates to really tell the government or their elected officials, you've not done well, or you've done well. We'll either reward you or we're not going to reward you.
Exactly.
That's what it means at this point in time. But again, these same people that will complain that they are hungry, that the policies are not favorable to them, at the end of the day, when you see, we'll talk about a lot of issues comes at play here. The political parties will have to do everything they need to win these very positions. This is what makes it even more interesting, because every political party will want to win this election as a way of making a statement. For example, look at the ADC that is new in the fray now. As at last year, there was ADC was one of the smaller parties,
yes.
But now they are becoming the main opposition party, by the PDP. You understand? Now is a time for them to make a statement. We are in it. We mean business. We are serious. You understand? So that's why you see that there has to be heated up. It's a serious business, like we pointed out yesterday. But at the end of the day, we are talking about off-season election and rewards. That is a period for you to tell your rep, you've not done well, your party has not done well for us, we are not rewarding you, let's try these other people. But a lot of factors I mentioned, you look at in election, you look at those factors. For example, we've not done away with the issue of vote buying. The same people that are complaining, this government, this party has not done well, would collect 1,000 naira and sell their votes. some will collect 500 and sell their votes. So,
during that 2023 election, P2B really did a great job.
Okay.
In electioneering education.
Okay.
He went out of his way to make sure that the masses understand what it means to cast their votes. Even when you didn't come out to cast, and the other person casts for the wrong person, and he gets there, you that has been crying foul will continue to cry foul because you refuse coming out to do the needful.
It's true.
And if you eventually comes out and they are able to convince you to sell that your vote, one vote that would have made a difference, then check how much were you giving? How long will these people stay? Can you divide that money given to you across those days, weeks, and months that will make up those years the person will stay there? Is it worth it? It's called conscientizing. P2B really did that. I think now people have come to understand that if you sell your vote, you did not just sell your conscience. Whatever comes out of
you would live with
you live with it peaceably without even making a noise. Again, in fact, he made us to understand most times if they come, especially during these general elections, all those senators and House of Rep members coming to say, give me your vote, I will water you, I will fire you. You see, collect that money. After all, it is your constitutional, is money meant for your constitution, I mean constituency, I mean.
Money. It's your money.
If they give you rice and give you
for who you want to vote for.
Ask them for groundnut you are going to use to cook that rice. And you know your conscience. You already know whom you want to cast your vote to. Go ahead and cast that vote to that very person. And that was what happened that made that 2023 election look as if it is on personal basis, not minding the party you're coming out from. So it is on individual basis. So I don't think the issue of vote buying at this time may be possible.
Yes.
It may play,
it may
play as it used to play before. People have come to know. People are now people are now in the know that just one mistake, one selling of your vote, and for how much?
Ms. Chinwe, it will be very, very, interesting, and one would feel very happy if the people have now realized how important their vote is and move away from collecting the 1,000 naira. When you look at the elections that's been conducted, you see that these things are still very prevalent in the system. There's still the issue of vote buying, in as much as, yes, there's been a lot of sensitization. Do you understand? I think that this evil is still in the system, and just like you said, these things continue to play in our election. But it's highly commendable if the people would know the value of their votes and not sell it for peanuts. You understand? However, at this point, the factors at play here, like we said, voter education, the people knowing the value of their votes, not selling it for peanuts and all that. But again, coming to INEC, we'll call on INEC to make sure that these elections are very credible. Play by the book, play by the rules. The security forces should come out and make sure that there's nothing like thuggery, that the voters are protected, and we'll call on the government to ensure that security is implemented at this point in time, and all political parties should be very civil. This shouldn't be a do or die affair. Let the best man win. Let it be about ideologies. Let it be about policy. Let it be about character, the individual. And having said all that, we more especially hope that at the end of the day, there won't be vote buying, there won't be thuggery, and this we will see people going to court at the end of the day. If it's possible, let this be a test run to the preparation for 2027, correcting all the issues, all the errors of 2027. The issue of beavers, has it been corrected? Do you understand? So this is a test run for INEC to tell us that yes, the electorates, the citizenry, you can trust us. We've learned from our mistakes. There won't be glitchings come 2027.
Glitches. There will be glitches. Yes. That's true. That's true. All right. Thank you. And there's over to talking about ADC. We can see at the top left of the Nation newspaper where Obi endorses ADC candidates in the by-election. Why do you think he's endorsing these candidates?
You see, that figure Obi, that's what will make the whole difference. And that's even what making the Anambra by-election more heated up, because of the figure behind the ADC candidacy or candidature. Are you getting it? So if Obi has come out to endorse such candidates, you know what it means. Naturally and automatically, he has started garnering voters towards this. He's a pointer, he's like a compass. This is the right way to go. This is the place to be. So because they know Obi cannot just come and endorse anyhow person. So for him to fill in this person, fully behind the person, it means that this person is worth it. And let's see what plays out at the end of the day.
Okay. Now that you've mentioned the enigma called Obi, you understand, I have to equally point out that in as much as, yes, Obi has become a household name in Nigerian politics, he needs those seats as well. He needs those seats. He needs those politicians. Yes. But why would he endorse ADC candidates? Then it brings us to the issue at hand. The opposition political parties are in disarray. We know that, for example, in Anambra State, where Obi comes from, that the Labour Party, to which at this point he belongs, doesn't have a candidate in that election due to discrepancies, factions and all that. So INEC disqualified their candidates. So they are not feeding any candidate. They don't have a candidates in this election. Then that brings to mind another issue, if I may. Which party, where does Obi belong? So is it now officially that we are doing stores like Labour ADC, PDAPC, where you have one foot? Is it now legal for somebody to be in one party and is supporting another party? This used to be called anti-party in those days, but these days we are witnessing stores like PDAPC, where you see people in the opposition, like for the PDP governors, endorsing the APC president. There has been celebration with area of endorsement here and there. I yesterday listening to the governor of Enugu State, for instance, who heard him commending the APC-led administration. It's good to commend, yes, and I admire that about him, to recognize and commend the works of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. But remember, in opposition politics of yesterday's, you wouldn't hear of such, because it's the job of the opposition to keep the ruling government on their toes. Yeah. You understand? But these days, it's not becoming a thing for the opposition to say, oh, I'm in the PDP, we in the PDP in this state, we are in the PDP in this state, but we are endorsing an opposition candidate. We are endorsing the president of an opposition. Do you understand? So because it becomes a serious issue.
It is a serious issue, but then it is a matter of interest. You know, in politics, even in international relations, it's about selfishness, what you stand to gain. As long as it's not going to favor you at the long run, then it's a no-no.
You're not going for it.
It's a no-no. But if you critically look at it and know that if I venture into this, at the end of the day, it's going to secure my stay here. Probably I'm coming back for second term. And I don't have intentions of shifting grounds, like changing political party. I think the best bet for me now is to support the government at the center, give them my full backup, so that though I didn't drift to their end, staying here, giving them every support they needed, then they won't have to interfere with my coming back, my second time.
All right. So
I think it's all about selfish interest.
So
Yes.
okay, now it's about their interest.
It's interest,
So
of
it's,
course.
first of all, it's about their interest, not the people's interest.
Oh, no.
Not the people's.
Having said that, I think the most important here, talking about self-interest, it now begins to tell you about lack of ideologies in our political system. Because if the political parties are known for ideologies, it will be difficult for you to leave one party to the other. Because if you are associated to this party, it will be based on principles and ideologies for which you stand for. I am a Republican, then it's
Exactly.
difficult for me to move to
Yes.
the Democrats because of ideology.
have the same
We don't have the same
ideology and
ideology and principles. But here we wake up this morning, I am in PDP. And by the time- before the end of today,
another
I'm
party.
already in the APC. Do you understand? So we have to, I think, we have to strengthen our electoral system. Our rules have to be strengthened as regards political parties.
And again,
In
what
fact,
to
we should
do?
even make it difficult for people to be able to defect.
move.
They come from one party to the other.
Yes.
There should be a law guiding that. So that way, we'll be able to grow our political system. Then you see men, you see viable opposition. I think we'll have to really, call on the political parties to stand on principles and ideology. They should work on developing their own identity that is distinct from this other party. Having said that, we equally call on the present government. They've been accused a lot for interference with the opposition. So we call on them, if there's anything like that, it's not good for the system. They should desist from it. But at the end of the day, it's all about politics. It's
all about
their
politics.
interest.
Yeah.
So, but if there's any such interference, we would advise that it should be limited, so that we'll have viable political parties. These
And
issues
opposition
resolve our
parties.
opposition parties, so that the system will be able to
Run smooth.
run smooth to your state. Because when you look back at the stories coming up, the other day we heard about Tambuwa being detained and questioned, and then the ADC is now telling you that it's a witch hunt, that they are coming after the opposition. So, but if we are standing on principles, if we are standing on ideologies, there wouldn't be issues like this.
Yes, that's true. Well, thank you very much for that. And do not forget, you can also grab physical copies at your favorite vendor or catch the e-papers online. And after the break, it's time to unwind a little with a celebration. Please stay with us. You're still watching Sunrise on Aneke TV, and today we have a celebration in India, and today we would like to say happy Independence Day to the Republic of India. Yes. So, and as I said, it's the Independence Day at India. Now, every year on August 15, India dresses itself in the colors of national flag, saffron, white and green, to celebrate Independence Day. This day marks 1947, when India finally became free from British colonial rule after almost 200 years. It's not just a date on the calendar, it's a reminder of the struggle, the sacrifices, and dreams of countless freedom from fighters who believed in a free India. Now, their morning always begins with the Prime Minister hosting the tricolor at the historic Red Fort in Delhi, followed by the national anthem. The air is also filled with patriotic songs. Children in school wear little flag badges, and families gather to watch the celebration on TV, on the streets, and in their homes. They are decorated with flags, and in many cities, people fly colorful kites that dance together in the sky. A symbol of freedom, it's a day of pride, but also of reflection, to remember where the country has come from and to dream of what is ahead. In towns and villages, cultural programs, folk dances, and parades bring people together, proving that independence isn't just about history, it's about unity, hope, and the joy of being free. So let us know what you're celebrating wherever you're watching from, and tag us on Aneke TV across Instagram, Facebook, X, and YouTube, or call our phone 07030437110. And that's a wrap on today's edition of Sunrise on Aneke TV. Thank you for waking up with us. It's always a pleasure. I am Deborah Mwakoba.
And I'm Uche Osai. Stay bold, be unique, and keep watching Aneke TV. Have a great weekend.
Bye-bye.
Sex is sacred, not shameful. In its truest form, it is more than the body. It's a soul speaking to soul, fire woven with trust, vulnerability clothed in consent. But when misused, it breaks more than bodies, it fractures spirits. That is why it must be approached with reverence, not recklessness. Let us teach to love before lust, connection before conquest. For when sex is honored, it becomes not just pleasure, but poetry.
Hello, dear viewer. Many thanks to you for joining us on the program, The Arena, on Aneke Television. Today on the show, we are taking a look at a political matter. Political apathy amongst Nigerians, especially the young ones. Causes, root causes, and the way forward. These and more are what we'll be looking at on Aneke Television today on the program, The Arena. As you know, The Arena is a platform where we come to take on burning topical issues and matters ranging from different sectors. It could be political, it could be economic, it could be socio-cultural, it could be agriculture, it could be health, all on The Arena. But today we are launching on politics. So thanks for joining us. My name is Chris Aneke, and today we have joining us as our guest a principal lecturer as far as the Department of Public Administration in the Institute of Management and Technology, one of the foremost institutions we have in this part of the world here in Enugu is concerned, IMT Enugu. Dr. Emeka Nwanze is here with us in the studio. Doc, it's a pleasure to have you.
Thank you, yes.
And we appreciate you for always responding when we call on you, sir.
And I'm glad to be in the arena forum.
Thank you very much, sir. So, dear viewers, sit back as the program unfolds. It is no longer news that Nigerians exhibit this attitude of I don't care, lack of interest, lackadaisical attitude towards politics, especially when we talk about political participation. What could be the root causes? What could be the implications? Is it affecting our development? All these and more. We'll begin with Dr. Emeka Nwanze on this note. When we say political apathy, please, sir, could you help us give a brief explanation, meaning, to the term political apathy? What is it?
Apathy simply means I am not interested in things that I'm supposed to be interested. Apathy comes in different dimensions. It could be political apathy, it could be apathy socially, it could be emotional apathy. But today we are looking at political apathy.
So we equally have social apathy?
Yes.
Oh, beautiful.
There are some people that are social. They don't like coming out. They are introverts. They don't like mixing up. They are shy. And that is their nature. To them, you know, they have different types of, the way God created us. Some are sanguine, some are melancholic. And this thing determines who becomes apathetic socially, apathetic emotionally, and apathetic politically.
All right, so the issue of lack of interest is actually apathy in itself. But then we understand that politics is the superstructure upon which the economy, upon which development of society rides on. All other sectors could be considered to be substructure, but politics is the superstructure. When the people become apathetic to political development, how healthy is that for their development?
There is root cause of political apathy.
Before we get to the root causes, how dangerous is apathy politically?
It's so dangerous. That's what you cannot mention how dangerous it is without first
looking at the roots. So let's come to the roots
now. You are a political scientist. That is what I know for sure. And as a political scientist, there is one theory in political science that calls frustration aggression theory. First, you become frustrated the way politics and all that, and you say that politics is superstructure that controls the substructure. And in participating in the past, they have been devastated by, do I call it frustration? Because a hungry man is an angry man. One of the reasons why apathetic phenomenon becomes the order of the day, not just in the youth, but the majority of 90% of Nigerians. I've seen people in their discourse say, I will not vote again in this country. Some will say, I don't even know where I left my voter's card. But at the end of this discussion, we should know the various dimensions and the way we can participate in politics and the remedy to kind of excuse us from the vestiges of apathy, because it has its consequences in the long run. Apathetic phenomenon could be caused by bad governance, corruption, unemployment, hardship, especially economic hardship, that the one we're experiencing today in Nigeria is biting, pains and penuries. And these things, in a long way, cumulatively, can cause apathy in political system.
All right, that's a whole long list there you've just outlined as what could lead to apathy, political apathy amongst the citizenry. But I don't know. When do you think we started experiencing political apathy amongst the citizenry? Because aside from 1960, when we attained our independence politically, before the coming of the white man, we had pre-colonial societies. In the East, rather in the Igbo land, there was Igbo pre-colonial system. There was just to the egalitarian, cephalous,
Republican too.
Total participation by the people, a more democratic system then, unlike what we had in the North, wholly centralized, in the West, quasi-centralized. But in all of this, Dr. Wanze, what I'm trying to establish is the record in history shows that our people had always practiced politics before the white man came. So, but at what point do you think we were actively involved in political participation, and at what point do you think we started dropping down the precipice?
You have mentioned pre-colonial participation and political awareness. Then I want to start from post-independence disillusionment. Disillusionment is disappointment that has been orchestrated as a result of the way, the modus operandi under which politics has been played. Remember, before now, we have seen the vestiges of milks in quick successions after independence. And they always truncate a particular republic, a particular system, like you mentioned, as a result of one or two reasons. One of the reasons is that they will always say that politicians are corrupt. And they will always say that maybe one or two things, that the politics of Nigeria is played as a result of ethnocentrisms. That is ethno and ethnic politics. Now, there are certain things that makes the current dispensation of political apathy in a kind of in a geometrical progression. One of the reasons is this. In those days you mentioned, I remembered that I've never seen where they say there is a carrying of ballot boxes or pouring of acids or political violence. This political violence, as seen in current day politics, is one of the things that makes our youths to be politically apathetic. Sometimes our parents will tell their child or children or what, don't go and vote, so that they will not use you as a political talk to destabilize or truncate the activities of voting in a polling booth. These are the things. So when violence entered, our children and our youth started going, started becoming waxing cold. And the reason is that some politicians are callous. Instead of giving enough political education and enlightenment, because light and knowledge makes you to have an edge. When they tutor them to be politically aware, the advantages of participating in a politics where you call yourself a citizen, those people will not resort to political violence or thuggery. So because thuggery have killed a lot of people, I've seen in a polling station where people come and begin to shoot sporadically. And the parents will tell you, nah, mom, don't go this country, a joke. Then again, you see people, you stay under the sun, you make your vote, you line up, you stay there being hungry, you cast your votes, defend your vote. But at the end of the day, what is voted is not what is announced. It's not what is pronounced. Along the line, there will be a shift. That's what we call rigging comes in. That is one of the things that makes people bad precedent, disillusionments. These are the things that are cumulative. That people will now say, vote, tata, or vote. Is it what I have contributed? Is it what my vote? That my vote doesn't count in this country. And at the end of the day, when the results will be announced, the government of the day will tell you that if you are not comfortable with the announcement of the results, you can go to court. Then on going to court, I believe that we are running 3 organs of government. It's not just the politicians that represents the executive organ. We still have the judiciary and the legislature. And under checks and balances, the judiciary is supposed to become the hope of the common man. But in current day, according to precedents, you come to the court expecting justice over electoral pronouncement and result. The court will also disappoint you by pronouncing what the chief executive have asked them to do, because they are under their prerogative of decisions and mercy. Then the legislature, the current of what is happening in our legislative, both red carpet and green carpet, is something to be ashamed of. And when people look at these things, the legislator that's supposed to become a kind of organ, can I show you the beauty of democracy is legislature? Why? Legislature stands to control the executive in terms of budgetary allocations, like what that's the budget of a country comes to the sittings of Nigerian legislature under the joint session of the House of Representatives and the House of the Senate. They have every infantry and powers, the muscle and the capacity to say, Mr. President, this budget allocation is too meager. Or in this allocation, the ministries like education, agriculture are not, the money that is allocated to them is not enough. The money that is apportioned to security. But then, I am so disillusioned too that the legislature will look at those abnormalities coming from executive fiat and they will not say anything about it. Rather, they will begin to look on a way to a kind of, do I call it, try to sit upon their own legislative rights by trying to connive with the executive powers. But that is not beauty of democracy. And these are the things when our youth look at it and they will begin to say, even the judiciary that are supposed to protect my interests as the hope of the common man is looking at me, and we are wallowing in abject disillusionment. These are the things. There is no way we can move ahead in our democratic dispensation where my right, fundamental human right as enshrined in the Constitution, which we discussed the other day, are not protected. And there are organs that protect this right. There are organs that pushes democracy to give it its beauty. The beauty of democracy, I said again, lies on ability of legislature to control the executive, and also lies in the ability of the judiciary, if they are independent, to stand and to unleash justice without fear or favor. You will agree with me that most judicial decisions that we witness in the recent past is as a result of the expectations of the people, not through due process or rule of law. Just one phone call, do these things this way. The decisions is this. We already sit at home, say that this thing will end this way, and at the end of the day, it will end that way. These are the things, when you look at it, are the things that makes our Nigerian electorates and the youth to be highly disillusioned and to be highly apathetic when it comes to political matters.
Interesting indeed. I wouldn't know. I hope time will be friendly with us on the show today. So all of these things are the problem. Now there is lack of trust, especially amongst young Nigerians on the system, the political system. Violence you have listed, poverty you've talked about, lack of trust you've talked about. Dr. Nwanze, I still ask again, at what point can we look at and say, this is actually when we were sliding down the precipice, looking at our journey so far? Yes, you made reference to post-independence. I could still remember that during the 1983 election, while former President Shehu Shagari was seeking for re-election, at the end of the election, Dr. Nnamdi Azikiwe and Obafemi Awolowo, who were the main contenders against him, had judged the election not to be free and fair. They called it a rigged election. So, but then at what point, and these were the founding fathers of our political history, the men who wrestled independence from the hands of the colonial masters, complaining that the system, the political system was corrupt to the point they called the election rigged election. So when can we say it was at this point we went sliding down the precipice?
We are in a country or in the part of the continent where rigging has become part of our political culture.
It has become.
Yes. Now, and this thing didn't start today. But I want to shock you. The truth is this. When in America, in the United States that gave us presidentialism as we borrowed from them, I've seen some contenders immediately after the election. The loser, he said, I am conceding defeat and I am congratulating the winner. They will put their calls, their phone and say, congratulations. But the political culture of African man and Nigerian per se, because Nigeria is an integral part of Africa, will lack that impetus and the culture to say congratulations to the winner. So political accusation of rigging election becomes part of that culture that we are talking about. But actually, in the days...
You're not saying elections are not rigged, right?
I'm saying it's rigged. But I'm saying also the part of the culture we have as in this part of the world, Africans and in Nigeria, is that even when this election are done free and fair, I will give you instances of free and fair election that I've seen in these countries and elections that have been rigged, and it was obvious that it had been rigged. Now, but contending and as an accusation that this election was rigged has become part of our political culture. That is why we find it difficult to say to the winner, the loser, congratulations, you have won.
Good luck, Jonathan.
Okay, now listen.
Good luck, Jonathan.
That's what I want to. I want to say, in fact, in
ahead.
2015, good luck, Jonathan, because of the nature of his political understanding and culture. Many people have different political culture, and your political culture determines how you participate in politics. So the good luck, Jonathan, saw that the then president, may his soul rest in peace, who is being laid to rest today or has been laid to rest today, defeated him in the election of 2015. Before the election could be finished, he picked a call and said congratulations. And that is what solved a lot of political brouhaha. That is what solved a lot of political manipulations and other things. And Nigeria started afresh from another dispensation. But also, there is elections that we have had in the past where even the winners have won. They are not pronounced. The election is still cancelled and annulled. In 1993 general election, the one that MK Abiola won in 16 states out of 30 states, because then Nigeria was running a 30 states federation. And the then president, Ibrahim Babangida, annulled the June 12th election. Something that is fresh in my mind, because at that level, that June 12th is always my birthday. I was celebrating my birthday. That was on Saturday, June 12th. All of us, we casted our votes, and at the end of the day, Babangida being the commander-in-chief in the days of military dictatorship, cancelled the election. And I believe that is one of the most furious and fairest elections that Professor Humphrey Nwosu, of the blessed memory, may his soul rest in peace, has conducted. And when honors are being given to the people that did
the principal players,
his name was swept to the carpet. And his son even was asking the role that my father played and his risk that he took and other things. He did marvelously well in that election by making sure that there was free and fair election.
Even though we know the other day, the current president, he gave him
the latest election, I will not be fair to myself if I don't discuss 2023 general election.
Go ahead.
Now, it is obvious. I voted, and I know that many people voted, and I saw what happened in the polling stations, that people voted their heart. And when electoral result was being pronounced, I quoted Dino Malaya. That was the electoral result that Dino Malaya was following. That the electoral result, those people that wanted to rig made even mistake in trying to fix the date. And that there are certain things that happened in 2023 election. The beavers all these electronic scenarios that was set in place to make sure that there was free and fair election, and that the votes that our votes counted. Would Nigerians spend money in billions? At the end of the day, they say that those things, electronic devices, failed, and they will result to manual counting of votes. And before you know it, the Aneke will tell you that if you are not happy, you go to court. People that have been called that they have won tell you, if you are not happy, go to court. You still come to court. At the same time, the courts, the judiciary, will do one or two things. At the end of the day, when you hear the electoral result, you will be marveled. And let me tell you that if these things begin to run in quick succession, I'll tell you that our democracy will go back to square one. And it is high time we've, in this forum, say that in the next coming election, there has been a gimmicks, there has been a kind of alliances, coalitions of political parties coming up, trying to see if they can correct the abnormalities. And at the same time, I want to equally mention, as they're trying to come up with the solution, that the INEC should also try to become independent.
We'll come to that. We'll come to that. We'll be looking at what we need to do to right in the wrongs. But then signals are coming that we actually need to go on a very quick short break. And when we return, the conversation continues. Dear viewer, yes, we are having a chat with Dr. Aneke Nwanze today, and we're looking at political apathy amongst Nigerians, especially the young ones. Which way forward? Stay with us. Don't go away. The arena shall return. Welcome to Aneke TV, the heartbeat of culture, truth, and innovation. From breaking news to inspiring documentaries, from grassroots traditions, mysteries of life to global perspectives, we'll tell your stories. We amplify your voice and your vision. With every screen we light up, we connect, inform, and empower. It's more than a television. This is Aneke TV. We move with the world. Okay, viewer, you're welcome back to the program, The Arena, on Aneke Television. Just as I told you before we went to that break, that Dr. Aneke Nwanze is here with us in the studios, talking to us about political apathy amongst Nigerians, especially the young ones. We'll return to you now, Doc. Yes, we've looked at the history, the background. We've looked at our journey so far. We've also looked at the root causes of political apathy. But now, I want us to launch on the implications of political apathy amongst the citizen. Is it taking us anywhere forward, or is it detrimental? When we say people are politically apathetic, lack of interest in the political process, the people are not interested, what does it leave us with?
There's so many implications of being apathetic in a policy, in a political dispensation. One, I would want to say that there is this adage since I was a youth today, they are leaders of tomorrow. But before I mention some of the implications, I want the leaders today to also give the youth the platform to become leaders tomorrow. Now, the implication is this. I was in a forum on Sunday at event in Grace Event Center. Happened to be my church. I gave them a talk on political awareness and political participation. Let me link it to this evening discussion. If you are not politically aware and if you don't participate, you will become the product of, in the hands of those who participate. You know, sometimes they say that politics is a dirty game. That's one of the things that makes people not to participate. And you become where you are. If you think that politics is a dirty game, come and make it a clean game. Because if they want to allocate values, remember, like I said, the definitions of politics is one. David Easton says authoritative allocation of scarce resources. It is interplayers of actors in which each actor wants to gain a comparative advantage over the other. Then Harold Laswell said it is he who gets what? when and how. Let me stand from authoritative allocation of scarce resources. In every dimension, in every dispensation, scarce resources are always scarce. If you don't participate, you become a tool of those, in the hands of those who participate. Whether they are doing it well or they are not doing it well, they stand the right either to give to you or not to give to you in terms of allocation of values. Now, I said it and I want to repeat it in this forum. Politics is not just participating to become a governor or a president or even a local government chairman. But if you participate in politics, there are certain things you could benefit. One, if you may have a moral standard and they will know you for becoming very good and upright. And the local government chairman is looking for treasurer. And he said, I want to make you the treasurer of my local government because you are an upright, because of your integrity, because of your accountability, because of your probity, because of what you stand. By that time, you are not per se a political office holder as a local government chairman. You have not even run an electoral position, but you have gotten an appointment. The governor of a state may say, hey, Professor Eze, you are a nice man. I know you very well. You represent a brand for integrity. Come and become the vice chancellor of this school. Come and become the rector of this school. With that, because you have participated in one way by voting, by even calling and saying, hello, congratulations, is part of political participation. Participation is not just going to vote. It's not only having voters card. It's not only electioneering campaign. You can, at the same time, look at what the governor of the state is doing now. We know we are running e-governance.
The governor of the state in Enugu State.
Yes, you can say, congratulations, you have done very well. You can equally report and say, hey, where I live at Ologo, the contractor you gave to that job is not doing anything good. Though. And we have reported. That was why the governor changed the contractor that was doing Ologo Road, who did it for 2 months, and he did not do anything. Now they changed and gave it another contract. Within 1 week, you see the work in action. Because we saw something and we say something. Because we participated in one. That's why we say there are some people that participate, gladiatorial political participation. Then we have parochial. For parochial, their own is not as quick as the gladiator. But the gladiators determines who gets what, according to Harold's last word.
When and how.
Now, if you are not part of who gets what, when and how, when the allocations of values will be allocated, your name will be eluded. And you will be crying from morning to night, from January to December, that this government, they don't remember me. How would they remember somebody they have not seen? Now, let me give you instances. In the days of Sullivan, the governor of Enugu State then, I participated in politics. After my MSc, I was the solution and I was embattered. Having married with kids, I didn't have much resources to feed my family. So I decided to enter politics. How? When I entered political mandate for Sullivan, it was like a pressure group that was supporting his governance. I became a bus driver. I want to say so that the viewers will hear my testimony and also come out from their hiding places or their cocoon where they are saying, I won't participate. If you don't participate, those that participate will control you. Then they gave me, in the 17 local government, there is always bus allocated to each local government. I was driving that of the local government where I hail from. Now, having been in charge of the bus as a driver, he didn't touch my certificate, he didn't touch my knowledge. But somehow, the rector of IMT then, late Professor Aneke, saw me and said, the young man, the way you talk, the way you carry yourself shows that you have been to the 4 walls of the institution. I said, yes, I am a political scientist. And he said, what level? I said, MSc level. That was how he brought me in. I didn't mean that I did not participate by being a driver. I don't know what my fate will be today because I know that unemployment is one of the reasons why our children and our youth are not participating. That's because their stomach infrastructure have not been harnessed. But there is a way you want to feed a child. If he places himself in position to receive the food, then the feeding will be going on very, very well. But there's a way you want to give him the spoon of maybe his pap or rice, and he doesn't position his mouth very well. The feeding will become very hard. That is the way I want to talk to Nigerian youth and Nigerians that are under my voice, that we shouldn't be playing our politics behind closed doors or at the backyard. We should come out. We should make a decision. We should pass accolades. No particular leader is do I call it complete or perfect? There is always perfection in imperfection, and it is a two-way traffic. Where they are not getting it right, you can chip in. Thank God that we are in the era of social media, where even if your voice is not heard, your write-up can be heard. You can type a message and say, Governor Pitamba, congratulations on your infrastructural development. You can equally type a message and say, Tinubu, continue in what you are doing in Nigeria. You can equally type a message and say, but the other aspect of taxation somehow is becoming unbearable to the Nigerian citizens. Remember, Albert Camus says that the essence of governance is to provide for the people what the people cannot provide for themselves. And right. If you go on infrastructure development without stomach infrastructure, there is a question mark in governance.
All right, still on the implications of political apathy. When Jonathan in 2015 conceded to defeat, through that single phone call to the late President Muhammadu Buhari and said, congratulations, Your Excellency, that actually seemed to have changed a whole lot of narratives. Because you know the mentality here in Africa, sit-tight syndrome. I will not relinquish power to another person. But for Jonathan to have told that path, a lot of political watchers and observers were of the opinion that our political culture seemed to have changed and the people's perception towards politics changed. And maybe perhaps that was what actually increased the interest amongst young people during the 2023 election, when people went all out there to get their voters card, their PVC, got ready, launched on the polling units, and turnout was encouraging. But I don't know if perhaps the turnout during the announcement of results had actually caused any problem. Do you think it has?
The turnout.
The 2023 election. The turnout was massive, especially among young Nigerians. But do you think the outcome of the election has increased or has it affected
It depends.
Political participation?
Let me use my constituency in Enugu State.
Go ahead.
As a case. After the 2023 general election, the youths barricaded some of these INEC roads, waiting for electoral result to be announced. And the essence of barricading the route where INEC will go in to announce the result and come out is sends a signal. And that signal is a participatory signal and a dangerous signal, in the sense that the INEC officials knew that if they have done something as usual, business as usual, that the youths are going to go on rampage. It happened in Abia State, where the youths stood by the side of the female, do I call it INEC, resident electoral commission. It happened in Enugu State. For 3 days, the result was not announced, and the youths were waiting. You could bear with me. They started cooking on the mirrors of Opera Square, and somebody was sponsoring that cook. They even slaughtered cow, waiting for the result, because they know that they have voted, and they are expecting their vote to be counted. And when the result was announced, everybody became calm. Had it been that the opposite of the result of Enugu State was announced, everybody, me, I was even getting ready to go to the village to stay because of the mayhem which it would have caused. But I thank God that it is what we casted that was announced, and the youth stood by it. Now, the other place in the
Let's go national.
National, that's in the national terrain. Labour Party, I can stand to tell you, and I stand to be contradicted, that if I've won an election in Lagos State, in Kano, and maybe in Federal Capital Territory, you are good to go. The Labour Party won in this place that I've mentioned. And before you could know it, a lot of manipulation elsewhere. And the electoral result was announced. And people, like, instead of jubilating like in Enugu State, they were mourning. And I could tell you that I witnessed something that happened that morning. The cloud was also melancholic. The moment they announced the electoral result, the cloud became beclouded and melancholic. It had never happened in my life before. As if in March, it seems as if it's going to rain from morning till like in the dawn, in the dusk. And I said, well, I don't know, but I know that something, people's, do I call it franchise, has been upturned. And that is the reason why Nigerians are becoming the solution. That is where mistrust comes in against trust. That is where people are saying in 2027, there is no need going to cast the election. The election were casted and we knew who voted. At the end of the day, the person who voted even became third person in the electoral result.
Dr. Wanze,
and that is it.
Towing that path now is taking us back to the implications. Towing that path, is it not a dangerous path to tow for people to say, okay, no need, participating? Is that not going to be a dangerous
let me very, very dangerous, I said. Let me tell you this. I want to tell Nigerians, especially of the youth's extraction, to be politically aware more than ever before. Let me say this now that I have the privilege to say it. You cannot stand and say the election was rigged when you did not exercise your franchise. You don't have any moral right to stand and say that the election that you did not vote was rigged. I say it again. Nobody has right to say that this election, whether 2023 or the coming 2027 election, if you didn't vote, you automatically disqualify to talk about the electoral result, because it is someone that voted that can say that my vote did not count, not someone who did not vote. And I want to tell us that if we increase our political apathy to political participation in coming 2027 election, it is going to go a long way to produce what I call ethical leaders.
Ethical leaders. Thank you very much. I don't know, especially to the youth of the southeastern extraction. During the election days, we see young people take to the fields.
I want to tell you something about youth of southern eastern extraction. There is an agitation before now over self-determination led by dear Nnamdi Kanu. Self-determination, that is secessionist agitation, which is not bad anyway.
Overcry of
yes, because we have said it time and time again, that this part of the country, it seems as if we are being treated as third-class citizens, not even second-class citizens. That certain level of equilibrium, which we have not attained, we are agitating for it. Now, the youths of southeastern extraction of Nigeria are also the solution. Some of them I have interviewed and they tell that they are not Nigerians, that they are Biafrans, and they are looking for sovereign state of Biafra. Whenever it comes, that is where their loyalty comes. And this goes a long way to affect their political participation. But I want to use this forum to say this, that in a country we see ourselves as a Nigerian, we should participate for the sovereign state of this country. Then if peradventure, through political gimmicks and political participation, because there is a current agitation to create one more state to drive for equilibrium or equity, then if in a way Biafran emerges or Yoruba nation emerges or Arewa people emerges, then we will now be loyal to one particular sovereign nation. But we cannot be loyal to country A and country B and expect our demands to be met there. Let me tell you, I have been in the village where I chase rabbits. If two rabbits comes out from one mouth, you chase this one, you lose the two. And that is why I am so comfortable with the national anthem which they changed. I'm so comfortable with Arise, O Compatriots, and the national pledge. Loyalty. You must be loyal to the state. It is even biblical. How? In Romans chapter 13 verse 1, it says, obey those in authority. Because there is no authority except that which God knows. And if you are going contrary to those who are in authority, then you are going contrary to the establishment that has been made by God. I am so conscious about that. And the same Bible says we should pray for those in authority. So rather than becoming apathetic, we should continue to pray. Some people will say prayers does not work. I believe of the fact that prayers works. But our timetable is not the same thing with God's timetable.
All right, so we've known the root causes of political apathy. We've actually looked at the implications of being apathetic to politics. Now, Dr. Wanze, what do you expect to happen? From now moving forward, you've complained of the judiciary not living up to expectation. You've complained of the system not working. Now you've equally posited that we have three arms of government that are supposed to be piloting the affairs of governance. And it seems the people are no longer having their trust on these arms of government. Constitutional review is ongoing right now. People are clamoring for judicial reforms. Some other persons are equally asking for electoral reforms, especially around Aneke, because even with the coalition ongoing right now, at the end of the day, Aneke will give us the results of whatever election. What do we need to do going forward from now so that we could start to
Let me
get it
start with
right?
judiciary. I am proposing for a better management case system and independent of judiciary. If we have independence of judiciary that is devoid of control from the executive organ, the judiciary will become a better judiciary starting from today. Then when it comes to things that are not working, there are youths out there that are battered and disillusioned. Create jobs for these youths. You know, P2B was saying something about consumption society and creating wealth. Our GDP will not increase, our gross domestic product will not increase, except when we go into production. And when we go into production, then the economy will be better. When we go into production, the measure of central tendency and global tendency in terms of naira, dollar, rising and falling will be a thing of the past. When we go into production, people, it's not about big teen population. We're expecting to import from population of 50 million, but we have more than 200 million in Nigeria. Then that means that we should create capacity. That I'm looking at the government to creating a capacity for us to go into production. When we go into production, our youths, Nigerians will be busy. Remember, an idle man is a devil's workshop. And an idle man will always murmur. An idle man will always not see anything good, even when things are working out fine. Then, it's part of it. Then, other solutions. When you create employment, you harness security. I've said over the media forum that everything rises and falls on security. John Maxwell says it falls and rises on leadership. Me, I'm equally saying, because if there is no security, you've invited me to come to this place, and I know there is no security in Edinburgh, I won't come here. And you will not leave your house. If you know that you are not going home to meet your family that told you bye-bye, will not tell you welcome. Chris, you won't be here. They should beef in our security. Because part of the things that we're talking about is that people sometimes are killed during the electoral campaign. Some are killed right in the polling booth. Some are killed while, you know what happened in Enugu State now? Somebody, a political aspirant, senatorial, was shot and was set ablaze.
A candidate.
A candidate. Senatorial candidate. Another thing, such things should be a thing of the past. It's not a do or die affair. That was why I love Goodluck Jonathan's presidential call. Congratulations. That thing saved a lot of situations. And we didn't even say much that he said. He said that the Nigeria, my position here, does not want the life of any Nigeria. That the life of any, he doesn't want to lose a soul. If it is accepting what it is, accepting defeat, and now, congratulations, now carry go. Provided nobody dies as a result of this particular electoral result. That is the political culture that I want Nigerian politicians to imbibe. It should be a political culture of sportsmanship. That's what they call spirit of sportsmanship. Last 2 days, I watched PSG and Chelsea. Even when the ball ended 90 minutes, I saw the defeated counterpart, PSG players, shaking the Chelsea players and extending their jersey. That is how politics is supposed to be run in Nigeria. To me, should think of taking one's life because of power. This thing are parochial. This thing are immaterial. It's not supposed to be mentioned at all. I still wonder why people want to take someone's life because of power, which is ephemeral. Look at it. We should learn by mistakes. We should also learn from good governance. We should also learn from what is happening concurrently. I was telling my friend, look at, I posted something in my platform in Facebook. I said, look, Nigerian politicians should learn from today. What happened today in Nigeria is a history. And there is a history that repeated 1960, July 15. You can go and Google it. Today is historical in Nigerian history. 1966, July 15. Go and Google it. Maybe when we come, it should be a discussion for another day. So history has a way of repeating.
But if you don't mind, could you just tell us what happened? This is a forum for enlightenment.
Someone was ousted from governance.
July
15th, 1966.
Thank you very much. Let's draw the curtain on the show. At this juncture, I must beg you, Dr. Aneke Nwanze, you've been very resourceful on the show. It's going to be work in progress. We look forward to dealing on issues like this on the arena from time to time, and we look forward to having you more and more, sir. Hoping that you keep obliging our call, sir. We hope you oblige our call when we call on you next time.
By His grace.
By His grace. Okay, dear viewer, that's the much we take on the program today. Our political culture will not grow if we begin to show political apathy. So let's get more interested, and the system will work. Until come your way again, I remain Chris and Iboabu, thanking Dr. Aneke Nwanze for coming. Bye for now. This is Aneke TV. We move with the world.
Nobody was on the chair. Difficult idea.
Na ba ya mechi na ọbụ ọkụ na anọ anyị adawo aga ọjị a na-awa ha abịa ji na ọjị na-eke ịkya na a na-agụ ya a na-ejide ọjị na-eka nri a na-emeghachi ihe kere ihe na ihe wara ihe Chineke nna kere enu ka anụ m akpọkụ ndị ezigbo mmadụ niile nọchawọrọ ndụ na-amechi ọkụ na anọ na anụ ọkụ na anọ na anụ Nkanụ na anụ Nta Egbe na-ese na anụ Enugu steeti na-asị biko na ọ bụ ha metere ihe ọma ka anyị na-asị ha gbadata ha bịa tara ọjị anyị na-asị Eke ka Eke ketere anyị ihe ọma anyị na-asị Ahwọ ka Ahwọ ghọtara anyị ihe ọma anyị na-asị Nkwọ ka Nkwọ kwọtara anyị ihe ọma anyị na-asị Orie ka Orie rutere anyị ihe ọma ihe ndị a niile ka anyị na-arịọ nna sị ka ị bịa mere anyị wetere anyị udo n'ala Igbo wetere anyị udo n'ala Naịjirịa wetere anyị ịhụnanya wetere anyị ọganihu wetere anyị ihe niile bụ ihe na-eme obodo adị mma nna biko ihe ndị a ka anyị na-arịọ kwetewo na imeworo anyị karịa ka anyị rịọrọ n'ịhwa Chineke nna kere enu ka ana bụ Chukwu okike abịama
ndị be anyị ọjị abịa anyị na-ekene osebụlụ ụwa ekene Chukwu okike nna ketere anyị oge kere igwe ka anyị na-ata ọjị anyị chọrọ iwe ọjị ị na-awa n'otu awa n'ibe asị ka ị goziela anyị taa ka ihe ọma hụkwa gwute anyị na-akpọku ndị nna nna anyị ha bụ abụ ndị mere ọhụma goziela anyị Eke gozie Orie gozie Nkwọ mee ka ndị ọbụla na-agagharị na-achọghị ha ga-eri mee ọhụma na ndị sokwa ụzọ ọtọ ndị kwụkwara ụzọ na-eje n'ụzọ kwụrụ ọtọ soro ka iwu Chukwu ji wee dị Chukwu na anyị siri ka anyị wụọ gị a tata nde udo na ọgụ na aga m niile ka ọ dịrị anyị mma lewo anyị na-ewepụta ile ọjị na-egosi ụmụnna anyị okenye na-awa ọjị ndị ọzọ na-awa ọjị na-ele enye ile ọjị nsọfụrụ maka na ebe a ọ na ile ọjị a ka eji ama eziokwu iweta ọjị onye ọzọ na-asa ile ọ ga-eji na-ekwu eziokwu onye sara ile weta ile ọjị were na-ekpe ekpere were na-aga ọhụụ ọ ga-ekwuneta eziokwu ọjị a anyị na-enye nsọfụrụ ọjị lụọ ịnọ otu a ata ya o ruo ise atakwa ya mana o bido ruo na asaa ịma na ị ga-egbu anụ ị ga-egbu ọkụkọ.
Welcome to Aneke TV, the heartbeat of culture, truth and innovation. From breaking news to inspiring documentaries, from grassroots traditions, mysteries of life to global perspectives, we'll tell your stories. We amplify your voice and your vision. With every screen we light up, we connect, inform and empower. It's more than a television. This is Aneke TV. We move with the world.
The soul is part of us that survives every storm. You can't see it, but you can feel it in silence, in longing, in every heartbeat that keeps going. It asks for more than food and fame. It hungers for meaning, for stillness, for the divine. The soul is where music is born, where peace begins, where truth hides. To care for your soul is the greatest act of self-love. For in the end, what we were fades, but what we are at our core remains.
Nigeria Students Legislative Council, Enugu State Chapter, has honored the Chief Executive Officer, CEO, Aneke Television and Online TV in Enugu, Chief Pascal Onyeka Aneke, with a Lifetime Award, The group presented him with an award of recognition and support for his exceptional contributions to youth empowerment, media excellence, and community development. The award was presented to him during the maiden edition of the Council's 2025 Intercampus Debate held at Peaceland University, Enugu. Presenting the award, the president of the Council, Enugu chapter, Mr. Makata Chukwuma, said the award was a distinguished leadership prize for excellence for individuals who contribute to societal transformation. According to him, there are those who live for the benefit of others and dedicated themselves to the promotion of education, excellence, and good governance. He described Chief Aneke as humble, benevolent personality and a promoter of excellence. He commended him for his dedication to youth empowerment and consistent support to the Council, stressing that the award was to appreciate him for his support to advancement of the objectives of the Council. Mr. Chukwuma urged Nigerians to effect positive change in the society with their substance, talents, and gifts.
Your support for students' development and democratic engagement remains invaluable. This event is not just a debate, it is a celebration of knowledge, dialogue, and civil responsibility. It represents a landmark moment for student legislative leadership across Enugu State and beyond. For the first time in history, student parliament from universities, polytechnics, and college of education are gathered here not in protest, not in silence, but in intellectual engagement, driven by purpose and passion for societal progress. We believe that true leadership starts with ideas, and this debate is a platform for our students to voice those ideas boldly, intelligently, and responsibly. Today, we are planting seed of active citizenship, public policy awareness, and legislative consciousness in the mind of young leaders. This is the very heart of what NSLC stands for. As students, we may not yet sit at the policy-making table of our nations, but with a platform like this, we are preparing ourselves to build tables of our own. This initiative is not only about arguments, it is about understanding the issues, defending the truth, and proposing solutions to the real challenges affecting our people.
Responding, the CEO, Aneke TV, Chief Pascal Aneke, said he was overwhelmed by the recognition and expressed gratitude that the Council found him worthy of the award. Chief Aneke, represented by the manager of the television, Mr. Frederick Chibuike China, promised to continue to identify with any initiative that advances humanity and promotes skills development.
Thank you so much. It's an honor to be here. My name is Right Honorable China Chibuike Frederick, the Aneke TV manager, also the National Assistant Secretary General, Nigerian State Legislative Council. So, with gratitude and heartfelt, I'm honored to be here to represent my principal, Chief Dr. Pascal Aneke Oyeka, the CEO of Aneke TV Aneke Foundation. Well, the organization was founded out of compassion, and also Aneke TV is also founded to give voice to the voiceless. And we say thank you to Nigerian State Legislative Council, Enugu State Chapter, and also on behalf of the entire Nigerian State Legislative Council, we say congratulations to Enugu State, and we are proud that the chairman of NSLC Enugu State, Honorable Makata Chukwuma, we are proud of you, and we say thank you and God bless you.
In an interview, the majority leader, Enugu State House of Assembly and the member representing Enugu North constituency, Mr. Johnson Ani, described the event as a veritable platform to learn. He therefore called on the students to keep learning to enable them to achieve their life-changing careers.
Wow, this is superb because I believe they say the youth are the future of tomorrow. And that is what we are seeing here today, because the same debate they are doing here today is similar thing that we approved in the House about a few months ago, and we find it correct to the state, to the good people of Enugu State. And what a day we find, I came here And the same, because I was not aware of the topic today. So when I came in, I saw that they are treating the same topic. So I've learned a little bit again too from them again as well. Yeah, the advice I have for the students is just that they should keep pressing, because I believe the process of learning is acquiring more knowledge. And no amount of knowledge is too big or neither too small. But the most important thing, keep pressing hard. I believe tomorrow we'll get to that dream future by the grace of God.
Nigeria Students Legislative Council is a platform that allows students participate in democratic processes, represent their interests, and advocate for positive change within their educational institutions and communities. This is done through learning and engaging in legislative processes, developing leadership skills, and promoting students' welfare. The occasion was well attended by students from other tertiary institutions in Enugu State, friends, professional bodies, and civil society groups. Highlights of the event include the presentation of prizes to winners in the debate competition and awards to some notable individuals who had impacted positively lives on members of the council. Jidofo Ebuche, Aneke TV.
Sex is sacred, not shameful. In its truest form, it is more than the body. It is soul speaking to soul, fire woven with trust, vulnerability clothed in consent. But when misused, it breaks more than bodies, it fractures spirits. That is why it must be approached with reverence, not recklessness. Let us teach to love before lust, connection before conquest. For when sex is honored, it becomes not just pleasure, but poetry.
Thank you, viewers, for sticking with us on Aneke TV. At this point, we'll bring you the first edition of a sports program on Aneke TV, which is strictly on football. In this very program, we will give you sports highlights, football highlights. And the name of this program is called Free Kick. This is Free Kick on Aneke TV. There is no VAR, no red card, no yellow card. It's strictly free kick, where we exchange views, banters, talk formation, everything and anything football. With me on this program is the one and only mighty, the professor of football himself, West.
I think Mr. Osai, you're a little bit high on the praises. Professor of football, I think, is too much for me.
Is that led for Arsene Wenger?
Yes, and let's leave it for our guys. All
right, whichever way it goes, we are with the one and only West.
Yes.
The man, when it comes to football, he's your go-to-go handle.
Yes.
Mr. West, it's always a pleasure to talk football with you.
Thank you for having me, Mr.
All
Osai.
right.
You are looking quite radiant.
Thank you. Thank God it's Friday.
Thank God it's Friday.
All right, Mr. West, over to you.
All right, guys. Like Mr. Osai said, this is Free Kick, and it's Free Kick on Aneke TV. Yeah, I hope you have your Requeme, your Juninho, your Big Camp, the free kick takers. But here, it is just me and Osai taking the free kick. You can be a part of it too.
Because it's our first edition of his. So, viewers, like he is pointing out, we expect to see you. This episode is very open to all football lovers.
Yes.
This place, there's no hold bars.
Yes.
There's no VR, remember.
Yes.
You are free to come on board. Come and air your view. Show us your knowledge of the football of the game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, starting off the free kick, I want to, because it's free kick, I want to start off with Basbos. In recent reports, our Falcons captain Rashidat Ajibade has come out to say that we haven't received our $100,000 promised by the federal government. Super Eagles Falcon captain Rashidat Ajibade has revealed that the team is yet to receive the promised $100K reward, along with other commitments made by the federal government following the victory at the 2024 WAFCON in Morocco. In an interview with media personality Chude Jidon, Ajibade communicated the status of the promise. So don't you think it's too early for Ajibade to be crying out that they have not received the money? After all, some of these legends had to die to receive their own.
Now that you mentioned it, thinking of the legend who didn't receive theirs, that's why I think it's needful. There's need to cry out and do that immediately. In fact, we shouldn't, when it comes to it shouldn't just be promises. It should be seen to have been executed. If she had said that they've not received the houses, then I would say no, that's too early.
Okay.
But when it comes to the money, immediately. Immediately, that's the motivation. Yes.
All right, Ajibade, you heard it from Osai. It is good they are crying out. May you not turn to the likes of Choma Jungwa, who in recent time received the promise made to her, when she won the first gold medal for Nigeria and for Africa in 1963. Yes, in 1993, she received it just months back from Governor Sanwo-Olu. A promise that was made when Sanwo-Olu was even still a boy. He had to fulfill it. All right, moving straight to it. On Wednesday, we were thrilled to an entertaining Super Cup final between Tottenham Hotspur of England and Paris Saint-Germain of France. It was an encounter that hosted the Europa Cup winner and the Champions League winner. Both teams, came to the field with their respective trophy, clamoring to claim the Super Cup, the giant of giants, in an encounter that had a whole lot of goals and a lot of drama, just like all football lovers want it. The European champions, Paris Saint-Germain, began the new season by lifting more silverware on Wednesday as they beat Tottenham Hotspur 4-3 on penalties in the UEFA Super Cup. After producing a late comeback to draw the match 2-2, Spurs looked set to get their hands on the trophy in their first competitive match under the new coach Thomas Frank, as they led 2-0 just after halftime at the Stadio Fiorelli in Udine, Italy. Mickey van der Ven gave the last season Europa winners a lead in 39 minutes, and Christian Romero got their second goal 3 minutes into the second half. However, PSG were rescued by two substitutes. Lee Kan pulled a goal back in the 85th minute, and Giancarlo Ramos headed the equalizer 4 minutes into injury time. That meant a penalty shootout, but it started badly for PSG with Vitinha putting the first kick wide. However, Paris Saint-Germain goalkeeper Lucas Chevalier saved Van der Ven and Mateus and missed the target, allowing Nuno Mendes to convert the winning penalty for PSG. Osai, I don't know if you saw that game.
No, I was unfortunate. I couldn't watch the match. Yes, but I heard the outcome. I thought I'm leading the match.
Yes, they led for a good number of time.
At a point, I had feelers that people already concluded that they were going to win the Super Cup. Yes. Then I was now asking what really happened.
Football happened. Football happened. It's a game I saw from the lineup down to the decoration of the players, and I can tell you for a fact that Tottenham almost, in short, if almost was a trophy, they almost won an almost trophy.
But there's something I want to ask at this point in time. Are we going to see a PSG dominance in Europe
in the new season?
Yes,
I think we are going to see a PSG that will attempt everything, but dominance, no.
Okay.
Dominance, no, because having watched them against Chelsea in the Club World Cup final, and then having seen them play against Tottenham too, I think I find one thing to be constant: they are not as invincible as we think they are.
Okay.
They are not as invincible.
But they are going to be dominant in their league.
Yes, of course.
All right. So let's talk about the Community Shield as well.
Oh yes, the Community Shield, the Crystal Palace Liverpool game. I think that's another cracker. That's another cracker match. The man Glasson, the coach, the gaffer of Crystal Palace, has won 3 silverwares already with Crystal Palace, and they lost their appeal for the Europa League spot. Yes. They have an issue. The owner, they have an owner who is also a shareholder with Lyon. And you can't have two clubs with the same owner in the same league, Yeah. So, and UEFA prioritized Lyon because of their history to be in the Europa and dropped Crystal Palace to the Conference League. Unfortunately. But the game on Sunday was an exhilarating one. I saw a Crystal Palace that was out to fight tooth and nail for their trophy.
So are we looking forward to Crystal Palace doing better in this season?
I doubt.
Let's take a look at Liverpool. What really happened?
Okay, I think Liverpool, yes.
Where is the problem? Is it the midfield, the defense, or the strike force? Because we heard Virgil van Dijk calling out that they need to do something about the strike force.
No. There was nothing wrong with the strike force. I think Liverpool is still suffering a backline problem. They can't keep clean sheets. I think if you check last season, most times when they win a match, they outscore you. You score them 2, they score you 3, they score you 4. Arsenal lost the league to Liverpool because Arsenal had more draws than Liverpool did.
So are we saying that this has nothing to do with the departure of
Arnold
and Alexander Arnold and the death of Diego Jota, and then the winger that just left as well?
Okay, I'm talking about Darwin Núñez. I think they made an error by selling that young man, Darwin Núñez, because looking at Ekitike, he will need time. And Ritz that they bought for over 120 million pounds or euro is not an outright number 9. He plays behind the attacker, so that will also cut short of their goal. But Gakpo and Salah, if in their best form, might prove to be enough. But then they should have held on to Darwin Núñez, because now Isak is not looking likely, because the relationship between Isak and Newcastle has fallen.
Now that you've mentioned Isak, can you really take us into the transfer?
Transfers. Okay.
What's happening at the moment?
At the moment, players are still moving left and right. Liverpool are going for a centre back in the person of Maguhi of Crystal Palace.
Is Maguhi still coming?
Yes, he refused to take a new contract with Crystal Palace. Okay. Even as at that Community Shield final.
But there are people that are of the view that he may not necessarily come to Liverpool in this transfer.
No, he has agreed personal terms. I think it's a matter of.
And are you sure the club is willing to let him go?
he has no contract. If they don't let him go now, they will lose him for free.
All right.
They will lose him for free. So the best thing for teams like Crystal Palace is to cash out on the player and reinvest. I think the window will be open down till the end of August. So it is only sensible that you cash out on him and reinvest in another player.
All right, West, we don't have a lot of time.
Okay.
Can we really go into the prediction for this season? What are we going to see at the end of the season and then the match that's kicking off from today?
Okay, I think I am super excited. Like when I came here earlier, I told you I had to quickly make a content before coming, and it was a sports content. You know, a lot of people are tipping Man City and Liverpool to go head to head on it again, that the era of Arsenal coming second is over. But I strongly disagree with that. Arsenal will be going for the league. Then there will be problem in La Liga because Barcelona is not dropping quality, and I don't really see Real Madrid challenging them much with what they have. But then that is what we are looking out for. Then the League One might likely end up with PSG as their champion. Then Italian League, not too clear, but let's see what happens.
Now, not as a fan, but as a football analyst, as a lover of the game.
Yeah.
Give us your own prediction. In England, who do you see tops at the end of the season?
Okay, with what I've seen in the transfer week market, I am looking at Liverpool, Man City, and Chelsea.
Liverpool, Man City, Chelsea. Why would you say that?
Chelsea has made a lot of reinforcements, young players, talented players. You know, and if they find their chemistry at least 60-65%, 70%, there are going to be a lot of problem. Man City has not made a lot of changes. Liverpool has not made a lot of changes. So if the few that came in gels, these guys will give trouble.
In other words, this season we are going to be thrilled
or more. It will be a problem to even be in top 8.
Are you kidding me?
Yes.
Good. We'll look forward to that. Yeah. Then coming to Spain, you're telling me that we're going to witness a dominance of the Barcelona over Real Madrid?
Yes.
Why is that? Is it because Alonso has not settled into the role as
Alonso has not settled, and they didn't make much changes to the old boys. And now, currently, Real Madrid has no creative midfielder at all. There is no creative midfielder in Real Madrid, unless somebody will rise up to the occasion during the course of the season. But for now, I don't see a creative midfielder. Mbappe is there to run. Vinicius is there to run. Rodrigo is not in the plan of Xavi Alonso. So I just see one or two is not fitting in well for them.
All right. Before I ask for your prediction for today's match between Liverpool and Bournemouth, let's Isaac is taking. It's been a protracted transfer.
Yes, because I think he started creating the drama. Isaac didn't speak up early. Isaac allowed Liverpool go for Eketike, knowing fully well that Newcastle was interested. If Isaac has spoken up that he wants to leave, at least Liverpool will calm down and not sign Eketike.
Not speaking up how? Speaking to the club that he intends to leave.
Yes.
I'm aware that he told the club that season was supposed to be his last.
No. Yes. He has a contract.
He has a contract, but I heard that he already informed Newcastle that this season ended will be his last as a Newcastle player. He intends to move to a club where he would compete for every trophy.
Yeah. Okay. In the light of that, I still think he would have submitted a transfer request.
So at this point,
probably agree a personal term with Liverpool, making it very sure Liverpool will get me. So Liverpool wouldn't have any need to go for Hugo Eketike, because if Newcastle has gotten a number 9, I think they would have been calmer in negotiation.
But has he submitted a transfer?
Yes, he did that right after.
So how do you think that will play out now?
No, it's going.
But Liverpool still has the money to go.
Yes, but look at what might happen. Newcastle might just decide to behave like the Italians. They will hold you down, pay you, your contract will run out. You will not play for Newcastle, you will not play for any other person.
But I think we've seen the way Liverpool operate. At the end of the day, they may be patient till January. They did that with Van Dijk.
January. That's if Newcastle is still ready to let go by January. We've seen players outstay their contracts on the bench.
The Osimhen scenario.
Yes, and the clubs are willing to pay just to make sure that you don't go anywhere too.
All right, Mr. West, we don't have much time. Your prediction for today's match?
Okay, I think Liverpool will win Bournemouth by 3-0.
3-0.
Yes.
Given the 40 defense?
I think Bournemouth is another team that has sold all their talents. And the recruitment, in short, just yesterday they agreed a fee to let Dango Ouattara go to Brentford.
All right, Mr. West, always on fire. Viewers, this is just a sneak peek into what is coming throughout this season on Aneke TV. Join us on Free Kick every Friday. Thank you for watching.
Thank you, Mr. Osai.
Sex is sacred, not shameful. In its truest form, it is more than the body. It is soul speaking to soul, fire woven with trust, vulnerability clothed in consent. But when misused, it breaks more than bodies, it fractures spirits. That is why it must be approached with reverence, not recklessness. Let us teach to love before lust, connection before conquest. For when sex is honored, it becomes not just pleasure, but poetry.
Welcome to Aneke TV, the heartbeat of culture, truth, and innovation. From breaking news to inspiring documentaries, from grassroots traditions, mysteries of life to global perspectives, we'll tell your stories. We amplify your voice and your vision. With every screen we light up, we connect, inform, and empower. It's more than a television. This is Aneke TV. We move with the world.